It's a big deal. Apps are the thing we have the least control over. Vendors patch when they want, and attackers find gaps here, there, and everywhere. It's not possible, or fair, to manually keep apps updated across your entire estate. The only option is automation. But automating patching apps that are on all your users' endpoints, that's risky, right? I've been there, I completely understand the challenge, and now, thanks to Robopack, I'm delighted to present the solution. The solution that actually works exactly as you need it to. I'm Dean Ellerby, I'm a Microsoft Security MVP and VP of Community and Product Strategy at Robopack. Over the next 10 minutes, I'm going to show you my favourite bits of Robopack, and you'll learn how you can standardize Intune app packaging and updates at scale. Let's get started. Feature number 1. The Robopack library hosts over 41,000 applications. Each application is fully installed, verified, and uninstalled in a tightly controlled, locked-down virtual machine. This means that Robopack can document every aspect of the app, from the installed size to the files it writes to disk, and the files left over once the uninstall is complete. This vast library of fully tested, documented apps can be imported directly to Intune in just 4 clicks. Let me show you. I'm going to search for an application. Let's go for Power Automate Desktop. There it is. I'm going to take this one. And you can see on the left-hand side here, we have the information about the application, we have the description that comes from the store, we have the dependencies that are required for this app, and all the available versions that are in the library to use. Now, any one of these I can take and I can analyze and build, but it's most likely that you want the latest version. So back up to the top, we can analyze and build this latest version right here. I'll click on that. As you can see, we're going to wrap the application in the PowerShell app deploy toolkit. I'm just going to choose continue and quick import to Intune and choose my tenant. I'll go for a Robopack demo and choose import app. Now after a few seconds, it's going to import to Intune. It's already fully tested this application. It's in the library. It's been installed, fully uninstalled and documented. You can see it's uploading to Intune right now. I'll give that a few seconds to upload, and in the meantime I'll choose app documentation and show you that we have fully documented this application. So give it a few seconds to load this. You can see the install command here, the uninstall command, the registry detection method we're using, the install size, the total files, the files left after the uninstall. There's quite a lot there actually. And then when we scroll down, you can see initial dependencies. We have the install log and the uninstall log, all of the add remove programs items that get added, and all of the app files. Now some of these files, you can see with the red exclamation mark here, are left over afterwards, and this makes sense because .NET, for example, is a prerequisite, but it means that it's not going to remove .NET when the application itself gets removed, and that's a good thing because removing .NET would be a little disastrous if you start removing .NET when you remove applications that rely on .NET. So that's good to see, but a lot of files get left over afterwards, and we have all of the items that get added to the registry when this application installs. Okay, heading back up to the top, I can go back to this application here. It's already finished uploading to Intune, and all I need to do now is choose Show in Intune, and I can show you that this application has fully loaded into Intune, and we can take a look at it. There it is. So we have, I'll click on properties and show you that we have the description, all of the metadata about the app, the logo, and we also have the install command and the uninstall command and the detection method. Now it's just up to me to assign this to the groups of people that I need to have this app. Feature number 2. Getting apps into Intune that quickly is great, but wouldn't it be even better if Robopack kept these apps up to date each time a new version is released? Well, that's what Robopatch is all about. By setting up a Robopatch flow, we can specify quality gates and test processes for the automatic release of new versions. Don't worry, it sounds more complicated than it is. We simply set up a Robopatch flow, choose create flow, and add in our first test wave. Let me go ahead and do that. I'm going to go to Robopatch, choose patch flow. We simply choose setup Robopatch flow and choose create flow. And when we add in our first deployment wave, that might be our IT testers here. So IT testers, and I'm going to add an existing group. I've got my tenants here. I'll go for Robopack demo. I've got my IT pilot users that I'm going to add. There they are. So just an enter a group here in my tenant. I'll choose add groups to wave. And then before it moves to the next wave, we want some success criteria. So for example, I want to make sure 100% of these apps are installed on the test computers, or at least 60% of the test computers, before it moves to the next wave. And so the next wave is this one over here, which could be everyone who needs it. It could be all devices in the environment. Now this is Power Automate Desktop that we're talking about, so it maybe not everyone needs Power Automate Desktop, but it's really simple to just add in all devices if you want. Or maybe you could make it available for all devices or all users. Or even you could add in your own group of people that might need it. So it might be my developers, for example. There they are. I will add those to the waves, and I'll remove all devices because that's not really what we want. It's going to go to the developers instead, and I'll make it available for the developers so they can just choose to install it if they want. And that's just an enter group which contains some people who can have this application pushed to their company portal. Okay, that's it from the wave deployment. All I need to do now is choose save and start deployment, and what's going to happen is it's going to push this application to the first wave, the IT pilot computers, and then once that's finished, it will move over to the development team in wave 2. Now, the really impressive thing is that that will happen every single time a new version of Power Automate Desktop gets released by Microsoft. Really, really powerful. Feature number 3. Figuring out which apps you care about in your organization can be a challenge. I mean, you probably know which apps you've deployed via Intune, but what about apps that have been manually installed by users or by IT technicians just helping users out? That's why Robopack Radar is one of my favorite features. With Radar, we can simply scan all managed devices in the organization and match the apps against that 41,000 app strong library. In Robopack, we can choose Radar, and then we choose the tenant we care about. So for example, my development tenant here. And if we scroll down, you can see all of the applications that are installed on computers in my dev tenant. Now here, for example, we have 7-Zip, which has 5 versions installed on just one device. That's not ideal. If we scroll down a little bit more, we see some more options. For example, Microsoft Edge, we have as an Intune application on one device. If I click on the device, you'll see which device has it installed and which version. Here, it's really simple to get these patched because these are in this list because they're not managed by Robopack. And if I show you a different tenant, for example, that is managed by Robopack, I can choose Show Existing Apps, and these are all the ones that we're currently deploying via Robopack for this tenant. So the idea is to get this list as small as possible and this managed list as large as possible. But back to my dev tenant, which I don't really look after too much, we have this list here, which is much, much less green. The idea is very simple. We can simply choose the application we want to patch. For example, company portal. I can choose add patch flow and choose create flow and create that exact same flow that I showed you earlier on. I could make it go to my IT pilot users first, and then the second wave could be every computer in the business. There we go. I'll choose save and start deployment, and now I've just discovered that I care about the company portal in the environment. I have just patched it for now, and also every single time it gets released in the future. Really, really powerful. Feature number 4. Sometimes apps need a little customization to get them to be useful. For example, you might need to add a license key or something to get it connected to your provider. Well, with custom app settings, this is really simple. We can create a custom app setting for any app, whether that be a library application or a custom application that we're going to talk about later on. And this will allow you to make a change to how this application gets installed. You can add registry items and even put files on target computers. As if that's not enough, we can even use a PowerShell script to make any changes during any phase of the installation. Let me quickly show you. I'll choose Custom App Settings and add a custom app setting for Power Automate Desktop. Go for Power Automate Desktop, search for the app. There it is. I can target a specific version if I want to. I can target a specific architecture, and I can just scroll down. This is the install path that we're currently going to use. I can simply replace that command and add in my own thing or make a slight change. Let's remove the 𝗦𝗽𝗲𝗸𝗀𝗀𝗀 here. That will probably break it, but let's remove the 𝗦𝗽𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 as an example, and we can also add in maybe group equals test, for example. Anyway, that's now changed how this installer works. And when I scroll down, you can see we can add registry values during this install. We can add files to anywhere on the computer, even in the user profile or on the machine. And then we can add those PowerShell changes that we want. Add a very simple PowerShell, add PowerShell button here, and we can add in the pre-install, the install, the post-install, and the same with the uninstalls. Just write your command here. Now, when you're finished, you just choose Save Settings. When we head back to the application here, Power Automate, you can see my custom settings have been applied. And so if I show you the installation script by choosing View Script, you'll see that my changes, where I think it was group equals test, have already been added to this installer. That means it's already been packaged as a PSADT, a PowerShell Application Deployment Toolkit package, and already uploaded to Intune as an Intune win. So quick, so powerful. Okay. Probably my favorite feature of all my favorite features is feature number 5, custom applications. Because even with a library of 41,000 applications, there are always going to be some apps that simply can't be in the Robopack library. Perhaps they need to be downloaded directly from your account on the publisher's website, for example. Well, not a problem. We can simply get this into Robopack in just a few clicks. By choosing Convert Package, we can choose an application that we want. For example, I can go for the Global Secure Access Client here, and I can choose Open. And if I choose Continue, once it's finished analyzing it, it actually analyzed it and found that it's made by the Wixburn packaging platform, which is good to see. So I can choose Continue here. It has already found the silent install command, which means that I don't need to go away and find out how to do that. So I can then scroll down and choose Continue and Create Package. And what's going to happen now is it's going to upload that content from my computer up to Robopack. Now, once it's there, it's actually going to do the same thing it does for all of our library applications, and it will install this application on a virtual machine, fully test that it installs, fully uninstall the application, and document all the changes that happen to that computer. So in just a few moments, and in just a couple of clicks, you'll have full documentation for your own custom application that you uploaded. Not only that, now the application is in your Robopack library, and you can either import it to Intune directly, or you can create a Robopatch flow to deploy it in your preferred quality gates. There are a lot more features of Robopack that help make Intune app patching and third-party patching a great experience for Intune admins. Visit ignite.robopack.com to get started with a trial or to learn more. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have an awesome Ignite.